The idea for Transcript Host started when I didn't have a good answer as to where I should put the transcripts for my podcast. And this especially became a problem as I started to stack the number of episodes that I was publishing. So I was repurposing content from my YouTube channel. So I was repurposing the videos and I was turning those into podcast episodes, but I didn't. There wasn't a good answer to, hey, where do I put the transcript for this podcast? And obviously, this applies beyond podcasts, but podcasts are the first thing I think of when I'm thinking of transcripts. But this could be for a webinar or a conference. It just comes down to where exactly do you put this transcript? And if it's just for one video or maybe a few audio files, probably not that significant to have these on individual pages. But when you start to get into the dozens of episodes, then you really have a distraction on your website. And I didn't want people who are searching my website for specific information to come across these transcripts because that's not really within the structure of the website. So on the screen with me is a blog post from accessible.org where to put your podcast transcript. And so let's go through part of this. And here we have a section why your website isn't the answer. And the first bullet point is your transcripts really aren't intended for content on your website. And then the second is your site search results will now include transcript results, which again, don't really match the search intent. And then I also talk about a blog post. If you have a blog feed that shows your most recent posts and you publish your transcripts as posts, your transcripts will now become a part of the blog when you probably don't want that. Because again, they don't fit with a normal blog post. So they really are their own separate silo. And then that's what I have next. Because of 1, 2, 3, you'll now need to create a separate silo within your website for transcripts. And so one thing is Google's only going to crawl certain pages of your website. Unless your website's really popular, you might not want, again, because the transcripts might not fit within the site structure, you might not want Google to direct their attention to these transcript pages. And so all of this, and I've seen other people ask the question, hey, where exactly do transcripts go? And with the podcast platforms, you could have transcripts on there, but they're not really built for that. And it also comes with all of their branding. So it's not really like a neutral place where you are able to promote your podcast, your podcast, or whatever it is, whatever content you have, your show, whether it's your series of videos, informational or educational series, your conferences, whatever it is. The hosting platforms really aren't a fit for that. And really, the hosting platforms are for podcasts. So if you have audio or video that fall outside of the podcast genre, then your transcript doesn't fit there anyway. So this is all to say that there really wasn't a one place where you could have a centralized hub to just host all of your transcripts for whatever it is. Let's say you have company meetings or you have conferences that are going on and you want to have transcripts for those conferences. Well, there's not really a single place to put those, and then they won't be in sequential order. And so this way, you not only have your transcripts being hosted somewhere else, it's actually a host that is dedicated to that, and it's for that. And so they are organized and they are in sequence of the order that you publish. So it makes sense. It's like a logical answer, and you can simply link to it from anywhere. And so the link can go, whether it's your show notes for your Apple podcast episode, whether it's your Spotify episode, whether it's a web page on your website, whether you've got the video embed of a presentation and you want to have the transcript beneath. All you have to do is have this singular link and say to access the transcript for this presentation or whatever it is, go to this link and there it will be. So that's why I think transcript host makes so much sense, is because now you have something that's intended to host transcripts and make this so much easier. And it now fits seamlessly, and you can share it wherever you want to share it. It can be on LinkedIn, it can be on Apple, it doesn't matter. And so it's one centralized place where you put your transcripts, and the transcripts are actually intended to go there. As we know that transcripts can get quite long. So imagine if we have this hour conference and we have this long transcript, it's really not going to fit. It's not going to flow within the rest of our website. So that's what I have here on this post, and I will link to this post in the description. But it really just talks about a lot of what we have gone through today. So if you want to sign up for Transcript Host, you can go to transcripthost.com and select a plan, and you can get started right away. This way, you're in control of your transcript. You can edit it whenever you like. You can add speakers to this. And on this channel, I'll be going over some different ways to help you with creating a transcript for your audio and video. And I will link to this post in the description as well.